What's up?
Tyler, we've seen a lot from you this season as far as contested catches, going up to get balls. I'm wondering, has anything changed? Is that something that you've worked on, or is that just a natural progression for you?
No, I mean, that's something I used to do when I was at Kansas State every single day, was I just kind of stayed outside, let my bro Jake Waters throw the ball to me, and I pick up somebody on defense and kind of had them try to literally let me drop the ball. Hold me, grab me, push me, punch me, like whatever the case was. I did it a lot when I was at Kansas State. I just didn't really do it as much when I was here. I was trying to do other stuff and focus on other stuff. But I think just looking at last year, a lot of the plays that I left out on the field was a lot of contested passes, which could have been, 50-50 balls. And so the one thing that I decided to get back to working on was just being able to work on some of those contested catches that I used to do back in the day.
You didn't wait till Chancellor, Thomas, and Sherman were gone before you let the cornerbacks beat up on?
No, when I was here at first, I had to get used to the scheme, understanding the scheme and ways that I could be able to freestyle in my routes. When I was at Kansas State, I used to freestyle a lot because it was easy to understand the scheme and my progression, and if I was the third read or the fourth read, and how much time that I had in my head to be able to run certain routes. So I was able to do a lot of things that was unique in our offense at Kansas State. And then when I got here, I had to kind of figure out what it is that I could do, what it is that I couldn't do, had to learn how to adjust, like different things like that. And with Shotty being able to come in, he allows me to be able to be more free, to be able to kind of do some of the things that I used to do back in the day to set people up. And I'm starting to get back to the game that I used to play.
How does it mentally affect you when you know that you can't play the game for whatever reason, as you did when you were at a high level in college, making the transition?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you just got to learn how to adapt. I mean, even when I was in the draft and I was getting ready for that, the guy who was helping me out with receiver was trying to get me to run routes the way that I've never ran it before, rolling in the stuff and everything, saying this is what they want to see at the combine. And even though that's something that you probably never did before, you just got to be able to have it in your tool belt just in case, because every receiver coach is different. I got worked out by a team, and he came in and was like, I don't like the way that you run routes. Then I got worked out by another team, and he said, I love the way that you run routes. So, I mean, every single receiver coach is different, and the way that they coach it is different, and the things that they ask for is a lot different. And so in order to stay in the league, you got to be able to adjust to whatever it is that the coach wants you to be able to do. And so that's exactly just how I've always been, is learn how to adjust and just play and figure out my game on the fly.
You obviously showed up late in that Packers game, back-to-back plays in that final drive. I mean, how much pride do you take in that, and being a guy that they know that they can go to late in games when they need to win?
Yeah, I mean, I just take one game at a time, one play at a time. I try to just go out there and do my job. I have no control over how many targets I get, when I'm going to get the ball. The only thing I have control over is just winning, making sure that I put wins on film, making sure that I put myself in a position to be able to win regardless of who's covering me. And, they did a good job playing defense on us and stuff like that. But the more that I let the game come to me and the more I started figuring out what it was that they were doing on defense and how they wanted to guard us, it made things a lot more easier going down the stretch, because I knew how I wanted to run certain routes, how I wanted to try to be able to get open. And Russell put the ball out there for me, and I was able to make that catch.
TV made a big deal out of whether you caught the second one. Did you have any doubt whether you caught that one or not?
No, I mean, I truly think I caught it. I looked at the play a lot. My cousin and them was looking at the play, talking about they said you dropped it and stuff. And when an announcer says, oh, they should challenge it, the whole world says he dropped it because they say that. But the way that I was looking at it was, I didn't really see the ball move as much. I see my hands move. And when your hands start to move whenever the ball stayed the same, and my hands, the trajectory of my hands just changed, what made it look like the ball moved. But, I mean, even whenever he swung me and stuff like that, I mean, I still had possession of the ball, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, regardless of what people say, it's a catch. They can't change it. They didn't challenge it, all that type of stuff. And, I mean, they made that type of decision. But all I did was try to go out there and make the play. And regardless of what happened, it ended up standing as a catch.
End around that you had, I think it was the first quarter, it looked like, were you trying to throw the ball there?
I'm not going to say. I was trying to freestyle.
Hey, Tyler, going back to the end, going up for the contested ball, how much of that is physical, mental, and then timing on the ball, or all those three?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned is obviously I'm not the biggest receiver, so you got to be able to figure out how to be able to put yourself in a position to be able to catch the ball. And one of the things that I'm able to work on is being able to check the trajectory of the ball, which when I'm catching punts. So when I'm catching punts, I'm literally sitting there trying to put it wherever it is that I need to catch it at or wherever I want to catch it at. And so when it comes to the deep balls and stuff like that, it's a little easier for me to be able to figure out where the ball is going and be able to put myself in a situation to shield players off, to jump when I want to jump. So all those things play into my hand whenever it comes to deep balls. Sometimes the other thing is if it's a underthrown ball or something like that and it's not going to come straight to you and you got people chasing you, that's when you still try to go make an effort for the ball because the DBs don't know where the ball is. They're playing you face to face. And so you end up getting a flag as well if you end up getting the ball underthrown and you try to come back to it.
Is there a game of deception that goes on when the ball's in the air between the wide receiver and the DB, like you just talked about in terms of?
Yeah, it could be a game of deception. You've seen David Moore slow down when Russell threw him the ball, and as soon as he slowed down, the guy thought it was a back shoulder, and then he sped up and caught it right where he wanted to catch it at. And it's the same way. The DB is playing you unless they're looking back at the ball. And when a DB is playing you, you make them do what you want them to do. And usually they play your hands. And so sometimes you do late hands. Sometimes you do you just jump for it and catch it at the highest point. Or sometimes you shield them and be able to catch it over your shoulder. It's those types of things that you do, but you got to be able to work on it because it's not something that's just going to come in the game. It's something that you got to work on. And the more that you work on it, the easier it becomes to be able to know which one you need to do in the game.
The group touchdown celebrations you guys have done, when did you decide that was going to be something that you would do this year?
Oh, I've always wanted to do it ever since they first started doing it, but it was just some people, they wasn't really feeling it at the time. And then when we started actually coming up with some real good ones this year, everybody started getting on board. And it's a team effort. We go to the team, figure out which one they like and which one they don't like. We do it in practice on Fridays. And if they say, hey, I was feeling that one, we decided to do that one. And we decided to go out there and do it. And the ones that we've been doing, everybody been loving so far.
Which has been your favorite?
I don't know. I like the baseball one a lot. Yeah, I like the baseball one. But, I like the drumline one, too. So those are probably my two favorites.
Was the one in Dallas or against Dallas, was that James Harden?
Yeah, we did the James Harden. We made do fall.
Did you have any that you liked that got scrapped by the rest of the team and you're like, hey, you guys feeling this?
That, you saying?
One that you liked and then presented to the team and they're like, we're not feeling it.
No, we haven't had many. The ones that the team wasn't really feeling, some of us in the group wasn't really feeling, so we just kind of asked to see what they thought. But a lot of the different type of ideas that we had and stuff that we're still thinking about doing, a lot of people are really liking.
What happened with the last celebration? It seemed like the timing was a little off. I think it was the Packers game?
Well, you talking about the swag surfing? Nah, we weren't trying to be on beat. When you surf, you surfing by yourself. Yeah, you can't do the same thing people doing in the water. So we just kind of went with our own motion. We weren't trying to be on beat.
When you consider everything with your game right now, are you the best that you've ever been right now?
Honestly, I think I was the best that I've been last year because I couldn't be at my best. So I had to figure out how to be able to take my game to the level that I used to play at without having the same type of physical being able to take it to where it's always been. So that's where I honestly think I was at my best. So when people always ask me, like, man, they see what I'm doing this year, but they don't understand that a lot of the stuff came from last year. I was still getting open, running 75%. I was still beating people downfield. It was just contested balls that I wasn't normally used to being able to jump up and go get it and stuff like that. I wasn't at the place that I could be at. So a lot of that stuff that I'm doing now, it's easy to be able to go back and play the game that you used to play when you learned how not to play the game that you used to play. And so all the things that I had to learn and work on that I wasn't good at, it's easy to be able to revert back to in my game now because I can set people up. Like, at first I had to learn how to really set people up in order to get them to bite so I could keep going deep. But now I could literally give them that that stutter, go. And I could change directions as fast as I used to again. So, I mean, I was the best that I was last year because all that type of stuff really helped me expand my game going into this year. This year, I've literally done nothing different than the way that I've always played.
When you think of Thanksgiving, there's any memories that stand out to you, whether as an adult or a kid?
I mean, back in the day, I used to go to my aunt's house, and a lot of the family used to come, and we used to bring like different foods and stuff like that. And we always used to kind of, before my mom and Tiny would pray, she would usually have everybody go around the room and we'll say what we're thankful for and stuff. And so that was a memory that I always used to enjoy, is that you just had all the family there at once, and we all talked about what we were thankful for. And then that was the same day that we actually pulled names out of the cup, and whoever's name that you pulled, that's whoever you had to go buy a Christmas gift for. So then we would go back down there to her house on Christmas Eve, and when we were at my Aunt Von's house, we would all be able to get the gifts of everybody whose names we pulled.
Is that in Tulsa?
Yep, I live in Tulsa. A lot of people think I'm from Kansas. I'm not from Kansas.
Looking at the game at hand, is there anything that you're specifically looking for against this Carolina defense? Whether there's matchup or...
No, I mean, we pretty much go do what we've been doing. So, I mean, nothing changes. We're just going to go out there and just play our game, let the game come to us, execute the way that we want to execute. And I think that's the biggest thing. Every single game, the way that we wanted to be able to attack teams, that's what we've literally did. And we were able to hold on to the time of possession, whether it's 30 minutes, 35 minutes. If we needed to complete passes like we wanted to do and extend drives, we were able to do that. If we got to keep an offense off the field, we're able to do that. So, I mean, it's whatever is in our game plan, whatever it is that they want to attack against this Carolina team, that's the very thing that we're going to do.
One more Thanksgiving one. What are some of your favorite Thanksgiving foods?
I like the green bean casserole, obviously turkey. I pretty much say that's it. I could eat that for days. Dressing, gotta have dressing, and then sweet potato.
Tyler, oh, sorry. Rashad was telling me that before every game that you and Doug will, I guess, hype him up, I guess, before you guys go out. I guess, what do you say to him? And then also, what have you kind of seen from him these last couple weeks as he's kind of gotten going a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably talking about when we all go out there before we catch punch, right? Yeah, so either me or Doug would decide what type of speech that we're going to give. And a lot of it is just like, have fun, be you. The game is not hard. Like, we make it harder mentally. Like, it doesn't matter who we play against. Like, the plays are going to be the same. The physicality is going to be the same. Doesn't matter what the team's record is. So, I mean, we always try to, like, help everybody remember who you are, because sometimes you can forget who you are. And you got to go back and look at your highlights. You got to go back and remember, like, who you used to be, because who you used to be is still who you are. That's still how you play. That's still how you're good. And that's still how you're going to be able to play in this game in the NFL for however long you want to play. So that's the kind of type of things that we talk about. And I think the biggest thing with him is just he finally started to get a chance. And that's the thing that you can't control. You can't control how many chances you get. You can only be able to get out there and go out there and play, because every single game is a job interview. You have to show why you're good enough to be on this team every single week. And not only that, but you got to show it in practice, not only in the games. And so those are things that I think he's starting to learn, and he's starting to get in his groove. And I like it. I like the fact that he's being able to go out there and play well. But I think that he needed to go through a lot of the stuff that he needed to go through to get to this point, to start being able to take his game to another level.
Anything else, guys?
Thanks. Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, real quick, just really quickly. You know, there's a lot on the line in this game. We know, as you kind of look at it.
There's nothing on the line in this game. This is another Super Bowl game. There's no game after this game. That's how we attack every single game. When we played the Rams and we lost, it seemed like that was it. When we played against the Chargers and lost, it seemed like that was it. The only difference is we have another game the next week. But every single game that we play, doesn't matter what tomorrow holds, doesn't matter if we control our playoff destiny and all that type of stuff. Only thing that matters is win the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Thanks a lot.